Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So the title of the video is pretty much self-explanatory. I will be looking at the Dante Brooks story. Actually, the Dante Brooks Verdict. Now, for those of you who don't know who Dante Brooks is, he is the son of the popular artist Mavado. Now, knowing me, I don't normally do a lot of videos on entertainers and stuff like that. But the message within this story, I think, is pretty key. And there's a lot that can be taken from it. So I'm like, I was inspired to do it. Also, based on some of the opinions and, based on some of the opinions and comments about the verdict in regards to Mavado, some people are saying that it is to blame. Some people are saying he has money and still his son ended up like this. So I'll be doing what I always do. I'll be giving my thoughts, my comments, i.e. my 2 cents on this whole matter. So without any further ado, guys, let's get into the video. First off, one of the main theme, right? So one of the main things that Mavado is to be blamed for how his son turned out. But for me, I'm going to be focusing on another point of view wherein, Mavado has money, but yet still his son still became a product. Now, the reason why I find this to be very interesting is because I've done a lot of videos. I've done a few videos on this about environment and outcome, and also about parenting and outcome, which are really key points. I think there's not enough videos being done on this, and a lot more videos need to be done on parenting in Jamaica, as well as upbringing, as well as environment. These three key areas needs to be addressed more if we're going to see drastic changes in outcomes of our youths. Now, let's look at Mavado as an entertainer. Clearly, you can see, and he's also said it, that he grew up in the inner city. Cassava Piece, I believe, he's from, right? He grew up there, obviously. He wasn't rich based on what he said. This is based on the words of Mavado. He didn't grow up rich. Now, he became an entertainer, bust out of the pack and started making money, which a lot of us do. Now, one thing I want to explain in the area of Mavado has money, so his son should have been more than his son shouldn't have fallen to the statistics or become the product, right? Well, I'm going to say that's wrong. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's not a matter of money equals better outcome. No, follow me. Don't get lost in what I'm saying. Remember, there's always variations to things. You can't just throw one thing out there and say, that's it. Just get what I'm saying. It's like saying money equals happiness. Or, for example, smoking equals cancer. That's not true. The reality is that if you smoke, you're more likely to get cancer. If you have money, you're more likely to be happier. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean that money equals happiness. It just means that if you have money, it can take away some of the stress that makes you unhappy. The same way, if you don't smoke, you're less likely to get cancer. Doesn't mean if you don't smoke, you will never get cancer. You understand? Because we know statistically, people get cancer without ever smoking. The same way, not because Mavado has money means his son would become something or wouldn't fall to the statistics, fall to the cycle. This is what I'm trying to explain. Not because his dad has money means he would become better. That's not how it works. His dad having money could have assisted in a better outcome, but that's what I'm going to go into. So it's not an equal factor. It's more a contributory factor, right? Hope you get what I'm saying. So now let's look at this deeper. Now let me explain this deeper. I did a video about you can take the pig out the sty, but you can't take the sty out the pig. Now the reason why I did this video is because growing up, I have been through a lot and I've seen a lot in my environment. Also, I overcame a lot, right? And based on my life experience and those before me, and also what I've read based on research as well, I have come to realize, and analyzing all of this, I have come to realize that you can take the pig out the sty. You can take the sty out of a pig. Depends, right? So there's one factor where you can take the pig out the sty and the sty stays there, which I'm going to explain again. There's a reason why the sty stays there. So this is where the difference comes. And then you can take the pig out the sty, or let's use a more general term. You can take the pig out the mud. Can you take the mud out the pig? It's the same way. You can take the pig out the mud, but the mud remains. But then there's a other situation where you can take the pig out the mud. Can you take the mud out? Can you take the sty out the pig? And then the sty is removed. Saying this to say that a lot of people have money, but their mindset is the same. A lot of people get opportunity, but their mindset hasn't changed. And this is what I meant by you can take the pig out the sty and you can take the sty out the pig if you change the mindset of the pig. And in order to do this, it's about changing how the pig thinks. So the pig is used to the mud. So one, you change the pig's environment, what they're used to. They're used to this dirt, muck, and all of that. If you take them away from that and show them a different side of life, show them a different way of doing things, cleaner, as opposed to meddling or playing in the mud, then you're more than likely you're creating building blocks for that pig to start to change the outlook, the way they look at life and situation. Putting it down to human being, young people, youths, whomever it is, because it can be older people as well. Now, a lot of parents, they say they want better for their children, but their mindset is the same. They have the same beliefs. Their thing is, for example, a lot of people that are rich, they have money. They don't dress like the man that just gets money. If you notice, a lot of young men that grew up in the inner city community and grew up poor, when they get money, only thing that change about them is how they can live in a bigger house. But everything is the same. Their money is spent on things that are not going to appreciate, right? It's not going to create more wealth in a sense, right? They will throw their money away on clothing, on cars, on all of these things that are not essential to developing the self. Does that make sense? Because their mindset is the same. So what will happen is, if you are this individual, this is why this is why you hear a lot of counselors say that you can't blame the child for the outcome, because it's the parents who feeds into that individual. We are all a blank slate. We're all individuals that comes into a world and we become the product of the world around us. Whatever we feed from, whatever we take from our environment, we're like a sponge and we suck it up. And then we become the product. We become the product of all of that. So if your parents have the same mindset, if your parents believe that you should dress a certain way, or your parents don't have the knowledge or the experience of what it takes to change you as a person, if your parents themselves need transformation, mental transformation, if your parents themselves has the sty in them still, even though they're out of the mud, but they have the sty in them, there is no way, period. Especially if it's both parents. No, I'm not saying that Mavado, I don't know how Mavado was as a parent. This discussion is bigger than that. It's a broader issue. This is why I've addressed this. Because people are of the opinion that because an entertainer has money, it should equal his son becoming better. And it doesn't work like that. Because money doesn't give you common sense. Money doesn't take the style out of you. It's mental processing. It's about a change of thinking and how you view the world. If your thinking doesn't change, if your thinking doesn't change, your behavior won't ever change. If you constantly believe that money is something that once you get it, you just should spend it, you don't believe in tomorrow, that's going to be how you live your life because that's your thinking. But if you take the sty out of the pig will behave different, right? This is why I am a big believer of people traveling. And again, I'm not saying that if you travel, you're going to be great or whatever. We're talking about experience now. So when you travel, what it does, you see other cultures, you see other race, you see a lot of different things. You see a different way of thinking. You see other people's point of view. You hear other people's point of view, how they conduct themselves. And you're around different minds. You start to adapt to that when it's positive. Because positive environment breeds positive outcome. So, even if you have money and your mindset is the same, the product, the outcome of that individual will not change because it's not necessarily the money. It's changing the way you think. So you grew up in the ghetto, right? You grew up in an environment where it wasn't pleasant. Then you have your child around that. You have your child around the negativity. Of course, the child is going to feed into that. And then if you portray negative behavior around your child, how can you expect better from the child? Now, if you change the environment of that child and you surround your child with individuals that are looking at education as the big deal. You have a lot of people that are living in high society, a lot of people that lives uptown or, the rich people, born into money and all of that. If you watch their lifestyle and how their children grow up and I'm not saying that rich people kids are not bad. 99% of them will finish university, right? That's just that's the statistics, right? Because their environment is one that breeds positivity. I have a friend that attended Arden High School and she was talking to me about, being in Arden and then, as opposed to myself that I went to Holy Trinity. And she's saying what she's noticed is that in Arden, right, everyone around her, everybody's competing for higher grades. It is the cool thing to be bright. It is cool to be bright. To be dunce is unpopular. You see where culture and environment is so important? And she said, because the environment, everybody is striving for the higher grade. It's the cool thing. If you don't go to classes, you're looked down upon. And because you're in the minority in these traditional high schools, you're in the minority because most people, they're into school. They want to get the good grades. And if you're the one who's behaving bad or not attending classes, you're in the minority. Whereas in another school like where I attended, it's the popular thing to not attend classes. If you're too bright, you're a nerd. That's how it is. You're laughed at, mostly. You're laughed at. Look at these troubled high schools. It's the nerdy guy, the guy that's respectful, that gets laughed at in these schools. But in the more traditional high schools, it's the guy that's behaving bad that is looked down upon. Right? It's more encouraged to go to classes in those schools. And there again, the environment. We talk about the bystander effect. Because environment is really important. Parenting is very key. This is why if a child fails, you have to blame the parents. You cannot blame the child. And a lot of people say no, because sometimes you try your best and all of that. Yes, I agree that a lot of us, we do our best, and whatever. But I don't think it's the best we could have done, if that makes sense. What I mean is, you can't say you do your best, right? And then you have your child staying out late. You can't say you do your best and then you wait until the child is a certain age to start disciplining the child, right? A lot of people, a lot of parents, when the child is younger, they have the child doing some things. And because the child is a baby, they're saying, oh, it's okay. And then they wait until the child is older, where the child is now talking back and is already rude, that disrespectful nature. That indisciplined nature is already embedded. Because remember, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he'll not depart from it. You have to start from the root. But they allow the baby to listen to the dirty music. They allow the baby to swear as a joke because he's a baby. And when the child starts to grow up, they treat the child a certain way. When the child is a baby, they run them, cuss them. It's a lot of things mentally. They have the child around them, telling the child, yo, my thugs, calling your son or your daughter, my thugs, yo, my G, and especially the dressing. You have the child walking like a proper bad man. I see it a lot. Especially when kids' birthday, you see it a lot. The child, the mother dressed the child where the child's boxers is showing and the trousers is below that. And the child has this big elevator chain. I don't have a problem with chains, but I'm just saying. And they have a kerchief in the back pocket. I talk about this a lot. People think these things are trivial, but they're not trivial. Everything adds up. Everything plays a part in the end result. Trust me. Trust me. And these situations are sad. Young man, guilty, found guilty. It's a sad situation, but it's not the first and it won't be the last, because we have a lot of youths right now that their parents are training them up to just come and be the statistics. They're damaging these youths. So like I said, this is no judgment on the entertainer Mavado. I don't know what he did. I don't know about the mother. I don't know none of that. But we're talking about what the fruit produced. It's what the fruits, by your fruits, ye shall know them. Fruit looks a bit sour in a sense. The fruit it doesn't look very, it doesn't look like it was, the fruit doesn't look, the fruit is really telling. The fruit looks concerning. So yes, you can take the sty out of the pig, but you can't bring the same mindset. This is why a lot of people are abroad. And they leave Jamaica and they come to the UK or Canada or America. And they're the same. They come and they find a corner and they're digging out the hand middle. They do the same thing abroad because the sty is still in them. They have been taking out the sty, but the sty is still in them. Because, of course, they went back to the same environment, to the same set of people with the same mindset, negative mindset. So it's drugs pushing, it's everything bad, guns, you name it. Because in order to really change individuals, you have to change the mind. No amount of money can change your youth. It's about what you feed into them. It's about what you expose them to, where you allow them to be from their younger. It's about what you show to them. A better way, there's loads of people who have been in crime and all of that, and they get money and they make something better of themselves. And their children have grown up different because they want better for their children. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of times, a lot of us, we make money, but we still have the same mindset. And we just feed that to our children. Because it's not money that makes you successful. It's none of that. A youth can grow up in the ghetto and come out successful. Why? The mindset. And it still works, They're taking the pig out the sty and take the sty out the pig. You can leave a youth in the ghetto. I would say that's taking the pig out the sty. Because they're in the ghetto still, but you surround them, you shelter them, you protect them from what is around them. It happens a lot. You shelter them from the negativity. And that's how you take the style out of them. So when I say you can take this pig out the style, it doesn't mean you have to move them to Timbuktu. They can stay right in the ghetto and become something. Everything depends on the parenting, the environment. That is it. That's just how I look at it. And this is reality, guys. Yep. So it is really daunting. It's sad. But it just goes to show you that if the mind doesn't change, how can we expect? If we are of the same mentality, we're thinking small, we're of the same mud behavior, mud thinking. We're still thinking the way we thought when we were poor and in the mud. And even though we get money, we have that same thinking, that same mentality. You're going to pass it on. That's just the truth. It's just the reality. So that's really it as usual, guys. My thoughts on it. You know, I could have gone deep about really. That's really as far as I would go with it, guys. That's really it. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. Please do share your thoughts on the situation. Please do share your comments in the comments box. If you agree or disagree with my reasoning. Like I said, leave a comment, you know, like the video if you do like it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Subscribe, you know, if you've been coming back and you like the content and what I do. Until next time, Godspeed. Big ups.